Hey everybody, welcome to what I hope to be the first part of a very brief series where I get to discuss with you a number of philosophical and social ideas. So I've called this series, this is not a podcast because it really isn't that. Rather, it's me being a little bit off the wall and sharing my thoughts on a number of pressing social issues. And my hope is that by sharing it with you, we can get a discussion going, and those ideas can be challenged and be refined, and that we can have multiple perspectives on these very complex matters of life. Later on, I will refine these ideas and take them into a different forum, in a different capacity, in a different sphere. And I hope that you'll be, along for the ride for that as well. But right now, I'm really just sharing my thoughts on things and hoping that you will all just tell me that I'm full of crap. So the the rules that I've set for myself on this is that I need to keep it short. So I don't think anyone's gonna really sit and listen to me for like an hour or 15 minutes. So I've limited it to just 5 minutes, and this is the only video that's gonna be significantly longer than 5 minutes because I have to explain what this is. Um, so, secondly, I'm giving myself the license to backtrack on things. So, if I need to kind of redo an episode, so to speak, I will do that if I've made an egregious error. And thirdly, I do actually have to engage with you, so I'm not allowed to just ignore what everyone is saying. Like I do have to take what people are telling me seriously, and I do look forward to that. And that might not feel like such a strong rule, but I think that for me, it's gonna have to be important for me to just bear that in mind all throughout. So that's basically the rules. So let's kind of cut to the story proper today. So today, what I want to talk about is my social situation and education. So we're just going to get there, and then next time we'll talk a little bit about education. So what this is about is my observations over the years on growing businesses in Puerto Rico. So a lot of businesses close, and naturally other businesses take their place. And what I found over the past maybe 11 years is that we've been very insistent on opening food related businesses. So, be that food production or, for the most part, restaurants. So, you have, typical Puerto Rican food, but you also have franchises and chains from the United States, like Chick-fil-A, and then you also have fusion cuisine, so things that aren't Puerto Rican at all, and they're usually not even close to authentic. So Chinese places, Japanese places, etc. And then on the other side of things, this is a more recent thing. There's been a huge boom in cannabis dispensaries. And my understanding is that that was allowed for medical reasons. I'm also going to take as a premise, I don't have any data about this, but I would say that the amount of dispensaries that have popped up are not proportional to the amount of people that would need cannabis for medical reasons. So I'm going to say that most people are purchasing cannabis mainly for recreational reasons, and I'm not interested in the debate about whether that's good or bad. I think that's a little bit beside the point. What I do want to bring out from this is that people seem to want to engage with these kinds of businesses because they're sensory things, right? The benefit that you get from these kinds of places are sensory. So obviously for food, it's taste, and then for cannabis, it's a sort of alteration of the processes of the senses. So people are interested in in spending money, but they're interested in something that maybe in a philosophical way we would say is like very basic, right? So it's a kind of gratification. It's an immediate gratification. And then the question might be, do we see this in other senses, right? So movies are obviously a visual and auditory thing, and that's also popular. And then we also have, sex shops that pop up a lot. So Obviously, they're not everywhere, but they are notable. And that's obviously also a sensory experience. So we don't really think about, let's say, higher order media. So when I say media, I'm just talking about things that enable us to reach different ideas. Books, even something like theater, which I think is a bit of a different experience um, than movies. Those kinds of things are not necessarily valued. We do have markets for them, but they're very, very limited. And then the question might be, why are they limited? And I think that the answer to that is because we haven't educated people to enjoy these things because they're not really immediate. And I would say that I would, just as a aside, I would say that theater going, I think, is in a way becomes a long term process of enjoyment rather than something that's fairly quick. So anyway, um, the thing here is that we haven't educated people to enjoy these things, and the question is then, what does it mean to educate somebody? And what I'm going to put as a premise, and this is sort of what I want to explore moving forward, is that education mainly has to be the training of the human being towards a disposition to a higher good. And I think if you want to be a little bit more cynical about it, I think you'd say to things that are more abstract. So so if you're educated, you are capable of enjoying something that works beyond the sensory experience. So sensory experiences are sort of neutral experiences, right? They happen and they're chemicals, and they don't have a morality necessarily, although how you get them might have, are more moral experiences. But we're not training people, we're not educating people to move beyond the sensory. And what I'm also going to premise, and I'm running out of time, is that that training has to happen as a community. So it's not just like what schools do or what a university does, but it's also what we do as a community. So what do we teach people who are younger than us? How do we engage in conversation with our peers? I think that's an important part of this. So next time, I hope to explore a little bit the facets of education. And yeah, thank you for listening, and be sure to, tell me if I'm full of crap. I'm looking forward to that. And yes, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you soon. Take care, everyone.